So I am ready to just jump right in. Hannah Lynn responded to my video herself, so I want to read her comment out loud and respond, kind of give you my thoughts, and I also want you guys to hear her answer too. My name is Marissa. I make a variety of diamond art content. If that interests you, consider subscribing. Thank you. Also, I do know I have a cut on my lip at the end of the video. If I remember, I'll go into how that happened. All right, let's kind of just get right in. Hannah Lynn herself said, "Thanks for opening up a discussion about this. My thoughts on a couple things, including the using the renderings, not legal advice." Good job, you covered your butt. This is arguably the case. Get it together. I can do this. I got this. This is arguably a case of renders charts being determined as pixelated copies because of them being so close to the original art, or even cross-stitch charts that preceded them, and with the colors, formatting, sizes, and processes being so close between manufacturers. Or if the charts would qualify for derivative status. I don't believe they will. But either way, in the case of a pixelated copy, the protection and ownership simply falls under my original copyright. But if they are determined as derivatives, that copyright is also still mine as per the agreement, as I retain all rights to my work, including derivatives. Licensee agrees it will not claim by any intellectual ownership rights to the artwork or any derivative or compilation thereof, unless such rights are granted to licensee by licensor. I did not send them my work so they could copy it and then immediately own it upon creation of copy. Claiming that I can't copy their copy forevermore, it's too slippery of a slope because the process of charting is so similar in the industry. I agree. If I sent the same original artwork to 10 different diamond painting manufacturers, even if they blindly created a chart without looking at any previous renderings, the chances of a couple of them coming too close or even the exact are very high. And we'd be in court every other month fighting over each pixel, which would dissuade any diamond painting company from ever working with my portfolio, as they'd be afraid they'd accidentally be infringing on someone else's renderings, just in regular course of business. This is why the laws say in order for a derivative to qualify for its own protection, it has to be more than trivial changes, because no judge is going to rule pixel by pixel. That's true. At least I think it is. And that ownership is ultimately determined by the original owner of the copyright. It's just too close to the original. In fact, the closer the chart is to the original, the better the overall results with the cross-stitch and diamond painting. Just like how if someone references my art by looking at it and tried to paint it exactly the way I did, or like when someone paints a portrait that started as a photograph, it would obviously be different because a different hand did it and it's in a different medium. But it's still a copy by definition. True. You can get up on it closely and say, oh, this line was wobbly and the original line is straighter. But when you look at it from a regular viewing distance, it is recognizable as a copy of the original artwork. This is true. I understand that. It says even a paper or canvas print from a printer is created using pixels from a computer and tiny droplets of ink, and the color and sizes will definitely be different. It is still a copy. I get that. When it comes to copies, they can be blurry, crappy, amazing, or even adjust for contrast. Cropped, painted by hand, still a copy of my artwork, which can only be owned and copyrighted by me unless I have sold someone the rights, which I did not. That's in capital letters. This was a limited licensing agreement that is now expired. The amount of work someone puts into something doesn't change the ownership of it either. If it did, then your building contractor would own your house and be able to tell you what paint colors to use, if your vehicle manufacturer or mechanic would own your car. Okay, I get that point of view. There are two. Was there a 1 before that? No, but this is 2. Okay. It says, they are also claiming that somehow the term of exclusivity extends beyond the agreement and that I am still exclusive with them for how long? Good question. For all my artworks in the entire field of diamond painting, which means that includes artwork they had, artwork they didn't have, and maybe artwork that wasn't even created yet. It was a 3-year contract, but somehow I'm to understand it's exclusive forever for diamond paintings now. I disagree with that. I don't think that should be the case. I mean, J-Wall was able to move on, didn't she? Didn't she originally have art with the Diamond Art Club? Okay, anyways. If this was their position, why didn't they say... I think I saw that in my comments. Okay, my brain. If this was their position, why didn't they say that when we were negotiating, either up front or when we were talking about separating? Good question. 3, the owner of anything ultimately has the power of it. They can change it, license it, trash it, and stop others from using it, even if they don't want to use it themselves. You're giving the puppy some love. That's tail thumping. My pup's getting love from my boy. Okay. This cannot be them per the contract, and I never would have signed a licensing agreement that didn't state I own all the rights to my work, and they never would have received my work or authorization to create the charts for the compensation we discussed. They didn't buy the rights to my work. They borrowed them, and that's the cost difference between renting a car for a weekend versus buying it. If a diamond painting company truly owns it, then I lose my rights as if I sold them, period. There can be no in-between here, where I shouldn't be allowed to copy their rendering. It's not their rendering by legal definition, it's mine, and I'll explain why it matters so much. That's just how ownership and almost everything works. As the legal owner, I can use it, license it, sell it, reference it, copy it, or stop people from using it without special permission. If they own it, that means they can do all those things now without paying me, consulting me, asking me because they own it? ? So if they take the original artwork off the packaging and replace it with the rendering copy of my work, they can now sell it forever without paying me anything and also stop anyone else from doing so, including me. No. I hope you all can see how this cannot stand in a court of law, and I have to deal with it. I must maintain clear ownership over my copyrights, and there has to be a defined line in that ownership. It cannot be unclear or confusing in any way. I agree 100% with that. Like, I'm vibing with this for a little bit. I just want to see how all of it... I did read the beginning of this, and I kind of stopped because I wanted to react to it like I did to her statements, because this is a pinned comment that she made herself, and obviously she's trying to get the word out there, and her opinion matters. What she's going through matters, and as I think she's leading towards it being okay for her to be able to work with other diamond companies, and I agree. And also she wants to add this as a protective layer, it feels like, for other artists, you know, so that this doesn't happen to anyone else. And I understand that, because this is a scary situation for her, because this is her livelihood, her income, her passion, her hard-earned work. And I think she said she'd been at it for like 15 years. So I am understanding where she is coming from. And this is heartbreaking. It cannot be unclear or confusing in any way. I aim to get to a place where there can be no more confusion or questions about if I can or cannot legally or ethically copy or reference these renderings, which are a direct copy of my work and owned by me. The answer is empathetically yes. They were not created from scratch. They were created from my artwork. Also, if they are claiming they own them because they created them, who exactly in their company owns them? Is it the executives or the graphic artists they paid that actually did the work? The contract is clear. I own all rights to my original artwork and derivatives, if applicable. I am not being mean, picky, difficult, shady, or unethical. I am protecting my business assets and other companies that I work with. Good for you. I will not, as some have mentioned, change a few colors here and there or the size to avoid conflict with a company who has zero ownership or say over my art and is trying to make take my rights away. As a matter of principle, and because it sends the confusing message that somehow I have to yield to or respect their copyrights, which do not exist in relation to my artwork. Ultimately, it's up to the companies I work with to use whatever process they want. If I've legally licensed my artwork to them, then that would simply be by default include these copies or derivatives for them to reference or use if they so choose. And because it's a process based on copying my original art as closely as possible, I simply can't promise that their competitors won't produce a copy or near copy of those renderings through normal course of production, even if they wanted to. And if that's what DAC really wanted, then they should have offered to buy the rights more like a film contract, in which case, yes, I would not have been able to contract anywhere else or contract elsewhere for the same product, which would have better protected them from the possibility of it being accidentally infringed upon. Oh, you scared me. Hi, baby boy. All right. Which is why I've said publicly many times that I'll use any renderings that have been done in the past if I like them without apology or moral dilemma. Because I have nothing to be ethically or legally concerned about and absolutely nothing to hide, and their arguments on the subject cannot stand in court of law, but they can still sue me and waste my time and money defending myself. They cannot tell me what to do with my art. I am standing on my rights and I'm not moving. I am not just doing it for me. I am doing it for all artists. We are done being exploited and manipulated. Thanks for the support, Hannah Lynn. Wow, that was very passion-filled, and I would like to have the skill of putting this much words together real fast. Like, I could use this skill for writing my books. Like, I am impressed. And her grammar is good. Like, I was able to read it pretty easily. And I am not the best reader out louder. Okay, we're just going to move on from that. I mean, I get it. And honestly, I have had many emails come my way. I have had both the renderings from Art and Soul and Diamond Art Club sent to me. I do see differences, but I also see that she does own her work. And if the companies want to reference it, then they can legally, and from what I'm understanding. But I don't know. I know she ethically... See, this is conflicting for me because I seriously think that I would rather get artwork from the companies that now are licensed to use her, like paying her to use her artwork, and I would rather see their renderings from it. It's just that personal touch that they have. It's just the way that they do things, and honestly, I don't want a direct copy of Diamond Art Club's. And that's just me as a consumer speaking. But if they reference it and there's differences, I'm 100% like, good for you, girl. I don't really have much of a response to that other than that. Like, I think she should stand her ground. I think that these lines do need to be defined, especially per contracts with artists. I think artists should be able to move around to different companies, especially after a contract is up. And it's sounding like she's well on her way to proving that point and not letting a company bully her, and also setting precedents for other artists to be able to stand up to being wronged or when they feel like they're being wronged. And I'm going to do a disclaimer now because I forgot to do it in the beginning. This is all entertainment purposes. I am taking public comments and responding and reacting to it. This is all alleged, and this is all for entertainment purposes only. Do not hate anybody. Do not get nasty in the comments. Do not attack or anything like that. Anyone. Do not bring personal stuff into my comments. I will delete comments that I feel are going off point or personally attacking someone. If it's not adding to the conversation and you're bringing your own beef in with someone, it's got to go. Like, it's not the point. I have certain expectations of my audience, just like you guys have certain expectations of me, and I am expecting respectful debates. Debates are a very normal, healthy thing to have. It is not normal to get nasty, and it is not normal to get disrespectful, and it is not normal to put personal attacks on someone. It's okay to have differing points of views. It is okay to not agree, but that's also when you have to be an adult and agree to move on. If you're a kid, go away. It's not for you. Okay. That's out of the way. Hi, Char. What are you doing, boo-boo? What? There was one part that I wanted to... I'm going to read this part. It says, this was a limited licensing agreement that is now expired. The amount of work someone puts into something does not change ownership either. If it did, then your building contractor would own your house and be able to tell you what paint colors to use, or your vehicle manufacturer or mechanic would own your car. That is such a good point, and I kind of didn't think about it like that. That is why I think having debates and discussions and seeing different people's points of view is so important, because everybody makes good points that kind of broaden your horizons from the way you interpret it or understand it. And I really appreciate this point of view, because it is her artwork, and she does, from the way it seems, legally own it, and she is allowed to do whatever she wants with it. I'm kind of going to leave this debate here. I just kind of wanted a point of reference so people can see what's going on. If it interests them, please do your own research, read the statements yourself, read the comments yourself, and just come to your own decision on what you feel like you can morally align with. I will say it again, business and morals don't always align, and I think she has every right to do what she wants with her own artwork, especially if the contract is done, in my opinion. Her contract is done. I think that Diamond Art Club should leave her alone. I'm throwing that out there because it seems like she's doing everything in the right direction. She waited 3 years with a contract she was unhappy with to be able to move on. And I have so much respect for that. And they stopped producing her work early anyways. So it's not like they had this amazing relationship or anything like that. She just simply wants other people to enjoy her art doing the hobby that they love. And I think every artist should be able to do that. I am going to record a video about the reasons why I think conversations like this are important. I'm also going to delve more into the other conversations that are held behind closed doors. I won't do that. I think if you have an opinion, you should be able to talk about it without repercussion, especially if it is just an opinion. That is allowed. And I think I'm going to reference a little bit of this, but it's going to be the other problematic behaviors that I see and whatnot. And I have 6 pages of notes. So stick around if you're interested in seeing that. If you like this kind of content, like and subscribe. And I do see value in this, and I know a lot of people are not happy that this conversation is now going public, because in my opinion, public opinion matters, and I don't think anyone should cover the narrative, cover or try to sweep away different narratives and control the information that you're trying to get. And I'm not saying Diamond Art Club is doing that, but it sure feels like that, especially when I have emails flooding in and I'm getting so much praise, and honestly this is not a response that I was expecting to get. It saddens me that people are scared to speak out because they don't know if a company is going to retaliate. Also, I don't think a product is worth, or getting a free product is worth, not speaking your mind, but I also understand, and I will get more into that later. I do strongly believe in leaving the affiliates alone, and I will get more into why in the next video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. This is absolutely terrifying. Okay, I'm like shaking in my boots. I might as well get to editing. Oh, my lip. Okay, so Detour, my puppy, is over exuberant and got his favorite toy and decided to punch me in the face as a thank you. His paws just kind of scratched down. Okay, for reals.